Hey everybody, it's Lo and welcome back to my channel, Lo Without Limits. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make some pumpkin spice keto bites. So if you want to see that, then just keep watching. So I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I've never made these before. Obviously it turned out well because I'm posting this video, and if they didn't, I would not be posting this right now. But I was trying to figure out a video to make. I wanted it to be a nice keto snack, and because tomorrow is Thanksgiving, I wanted it to be a little fall-ish. And I realized that I haven't had my protein energy bites in so long. I absolutely love the protein energy bites. I used to make them all the time, and I actually have a video of those from way back early on in my YouTube journey, and I realized I haven't had those because they do have dates, and dates secretly have like 1,000,000 carbs each, which is ridiculous and disappointing because I love dates. So I figured I'm going to keep that recipe in mind of the original protein energy bites, but make them keto. So no dates, some stuff with nice healthy fats, and see how it turns out. And of course they are going to be pumpkin spice flavored because fall, you know? So let's get started with it. So again, I know my protein energy bite recipe, and I'm just going to keto-fy it. Yeah. So one of the main components of the original protein energy bites was shredded coconut. So I'm going to add a little under a cup into my food processor. I also haven't used my food processor in so long just because I haven't like meal prepped or anything. I'm just putting those in there. It's shredded unsweetened coconut from Bob's Red Mill. You know I love Bob's Red Mill. And this is already super fine, but I'm just gonna give it a little pulse here and there just to make it super, super fine. And make sure everything's locked in there, nice and tight, and do a little pulse in the food processor. Now, for the base of the original protein energy bites, it was always soaked dates that were all mushed up in the food processor with the shredded coconut to really be the base, and then I add in the protein, all the flavors, all that fun stuff. So since I'm not going to be adding dates, because again those are super high in carbs, which is surprising and disappointing, I'm going to be going in with creamy almond butter. So for this, a serving is 3 tablespoons, and each one has no net carbs, which is great for keto. So far no net carbs in this. And then a serving of the almond butter is 2 tablespoons, and each serving has 4 net carbs. So I don't know how much I'm going to put in here because I don't want it to be too much almond butter to where it's too mushy, but I also want it to be able to combine really well with this desiccated coconut. So let's see, I'm gonna do 1 scoop. Oh, it's a really big scoop. That's probably like 2 servings right there. And that's the rest for this container of my creamy almond butter. That looks like a 1/4 cup, maybe even a 1/3 cup of the almond butter. So I'm just gonna see how that combines with the shredded coconut before adding more, because it's always easier to add more than to take some out. As in, you can't really take the almond butter out once it's in, you know? Okay, I don't want it to get too chunky because then it's hard to mix in everything else. I feel like that was actually a decent amount of the almond butter, because again, I don't want it to be too sticky or runny because then they're just kind of like, I feel like it would just be slop. So I feel like this consistency right now with that a little under, probably about 3/4 cup of the desiccated coconut, and then about, I'd say a 1/3 cup, maybe a little bit less of the creamy almond butter. It's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to add in the vegan protein from Woman's Best. This is vanilla. This is the protein that I always use, like when I would go to the gym, which I miss. I know I say that in like every video, but like I miss it so much. One of my life goals is to have a house where I can put like gym equipment in it, so I don't even have to go to the gym. I can just do it in my house, but you know, big dreams. I'm going to do a little over a scoop. So one of these scoops is half a serving. So just a really hefty scoop there. And again, you can always add more. You can't take it out. Now for the protein, again, I used this vegan Woman's Best one, but I almost wanted to use the Vital Proteins collagen peptides. But if you've ever used this and put it in water, you'll know that because it's collagen, it kind of gelatinizes a little bit. So my big worry was I was gonna scoop it in there and then it was gonna kind of be clumpy and not evenly distributed throughout the mixture, which is why I went with this one. It's fluffier and just blends up a little bit more. But again, you can try out this one. I just feel like it might clump up once it touches like the moisture of the almond butter. Now I'm going to add in the flavor. So I was kind of going back and forth about adding the maple extract because again, the protein powder does have a vanilla flavor already to it. If you're using something like the collagen protein powder, it doesn't have a flavor. So of course, maybe adding a little bit of vanilla extract would be nice. So I thought, do I need an extract? But I think I am going to add just a little bit of this maple extract because the maple flavor I feel like would be really nice with the pumpkin spice and everything else. So I think it'll just add to it, but like if you don't have maple extract, don't worry about it. Or if you only have vanilla and like you're already put a vanilla protein powder in there, don't worry about it. It's just, if you have it, do it. Just a little bit. I'm also going to add in pumpkin spice, of course. I'm just gonna add in enough to kind of go around. I would say that's like 2 teaspoons. Again, if I taste it and it's not super pumpkin-y, I can always add more, but I am going to add in a teeny bit more nutmeg, just like a sprinkle, as well as a sprinkle more of Ceylon cinnamon. Just because this has like really good health benefits. And the pumpkin spice is like an even mix of all the pumpkin spices. I just want to have a little extra cinnamon to it. And then to balance out the saltiness from the coconut and just all the different spices that I put in there, I'm going to add in a bit of salt. Just a few little bits of that. And I'm only really adding salt because 1, it'll help balance it out. And 2, when I've made the keto coconut clusters, which I also have a video of, the last batch Austin said was perfect, but there were a couple batches when he was like, oh, it could have used a bit more salt just to balance out the sweetness of it. So I think the salt will really help with that. And again, you can always add more if you feel like you taste it and it just needs a little bit more salt. All right, I just blended it up a lot just to make sure that it's all incorporated together and it's a nice creamy consistency for the bite, just like the protein energy bites that I've made previously, because sometimes the desiccated coconut can just like feel like a strange texture in them. So if you don't like that, then just keep blending it until they're all pretty fine. So this consistency of it right now is pretty nice. It's a little on the squishy side, and I don't know if it's because of the amount of almond butter or because of the heat that when the food processor keeps going, it does produce heat because like physics. So to balance it out, and this was just kind of like a if it needs it, just to kind of thicken it up, I'm going to add in less than a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Again, if yours is a bit more dense than mine, you don't need to add it. I just kind of want to thicken it up. Ground flaxseed is so great for fiber, which really helps balance out any carbs and brings the net carbs lower. So I'm just gonna mix this up a bit more. Yes, it does feel a bit thicker already. Again, it must just be like the heat in the almond butter, but that's okay because just like the original protein energy bites, you are going to freeze them once you get them into little balls. All right, so this made 9 of various sizes. I'm sure they could be a bit more uniform, but looking good. And they are pumpkin-y, super flavorful. I'm absolutely loving the flavor of them, but of course, they're a little mushy right now. So just like the other ones, you're going to pop them in the freezer. I'm gonna leave them in here for an hour and then check up on them. Maybe less than an hour because we all know I have 0 patience. All right, now it's been almost an hour since I put them in the freezer. I took a nice walk in between and feeling good now. And now I'm super excited to see how these turned out. Okay, so a little ploppy there. They've definitely flattened out. and I totally forgot to do this, I was going to stick a pecan on top of each one just so it's cute, but I forgot. Here they are. I should have put parchment paper underneath them, but I forgot. It's a really, really good consistency. I'm a big fan. I could have even added a bit more flax just to really bind it all together, or else they wouldn't have gotten as like ploppy looking. But wow. And they're perfectly pumpkin-y. Overall, I'm very happy with how these turned out considering that they were just a total experiment. They are so delicious. I absolutely love them. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below what your favorite keto snacks are and what you want to see more of on my channel. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a new video every Wednesday. So until the next one, thanks for watching.